Today is Wednesday, September 30th. Game one of the NBA Finals is today. Lakers versus Heat. I am a Laker fan, so I'm very happy that they're in the finals. I'm still disappointed that we didn't get to see a Lakers Clippers game. Lakers series, Clippers versus Lakers series. I'm still disappointed that the Bucks are not in the other conference. I'm upset they didn't come out of the East. I wanted to see Giannis versus LeBron in the NBA Finals. That would have been fun, especially when after he crowned himself the king after a regular season win. I think those are the two final matchups or playoff matchups that I was looking forward to the most, and unfortunately they didn't come through. But the Heat are a good team. They're coached really well by Coach Spoelstra. They have a super, really good young player in Bam Adebayo. They have Jimmy Butler, who's a dog. He's super feisty. He's just competitive. He was labeled like a locker room cancer before, but I mean he was with the Sixers, he was with the Wolves, he was with the Bulls, and we all know those are not the best ran franchises. Like the Bulls, since Jordan left, they haven't won anything. It looks like they're a mess. The Wolves, obviously, like they had Kevin Garnett back in the day, and they could never build a team around him. He left them, and the Sixers, like trust the process, tanking, like, and they got nothing going showing for that. So looking back, it was obviously not Jimmy Butler's fault. It was the franchise's fault. Whoever built that culture and those teams couldn't handle Jimmy Butler. Now he's in a good culture. He's in a good team like the Heat, well-ran franchise, and then they're in the finals. So that's a really feel-good story. Shout out to Jimmy, great player. Super. He's a great player. He's a better competitor. He's just always wants to leave it all on the court. He's just a really good player. Anybody would like to have, any competitive team would like to have Jimmy Butler on their team. But the Heat don't have a chance. Like, if I'm being honest, how much of a chance do I give the Heat to win this series? Close to none. Like 10% maybe. I see the Lakers winning in 6, maybe 5. I've always said this. In the playoffs, superstar talent wins over depth. Like, the depth is more useful. It's better in the regular season because it's a long season. You need to, like, space out your team's minutes. Rotations are longer. You get like 10 people playing per game. In the playoffs, your rotation gets smaller. You only really play like 7 or 8 players. So you just need like 2 or 3 to really carry those 8. But that being said, the Heat have depth, but they have quality depth too. They have a lot of good players. If you were to make a list of the best players in the series, Lakers and Heat combined, it would be LeBron, AD, and then it'll be like 5 or 6 Heat players, and then you'll be able to slot like the next Laker player. So I think it would be like LeBron, AD, and then you could put Bam Adebayo, and then Jimmy Butler, and then Dragic, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and then after Duncan Robinson, that's when you could like put maybe Kuz or Rondo or Dwight or Caruso. That's when you could probably start slotting them in. But I mean, are those 5 players, 6 players between AD and whoever the third best player for the Lakers? Whoever, I mean, it switches. It's not like a concrete. It should be Kuz, but it's not really like always him. So whoever you want to slot in as the third best Laker player, do those 5 or 6 Heat players have enough to make up for the 2 superstar talents that AD and LeBron bring? I don't think so. I don't think they have enough. Like, they need someone, and even Bam is a great player, but the difference between AD and Bam is still like pretty big. Is not that close. So I just need, like, even if Bam was a little better, if he was closer to AD, and then you have the next 5 players being Heat players in that list, then I think they have a chance. But it's like LeBron, AD, a little gap, or like a significant gap, and then it's Bam, and then it's Jimmy or Jimmy, like whoever you want to put as the number one player in the Heat. There's a gap between them and AD. So, how do you make up for that talent gap? Great coaching. They do have a great coach, Coach Spoelstra. He actually won 2 rings with LeBron. Uh, he hasn't been able to win one since he left, but that's not his fault. It's natural. Once LeBron leaves, he's actually the only head coach that hasn't gotten fired since LeBron leaves that franchise. When he left Cleveland, the head coach got fired. He went to Miami. Spoelstra's still there. He went to Cleveland. Tyronn Lue's no longer there. He's fired. He's the assistant head coach for the Clippers. He might get promoted now that Doc Rivers got fired, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But I think it just shows how good of a coach Spoelstra is, that LeBron was able to leave the Heat and he's still there. He brings them to the finals. Shout out Spoelstra, great head coach. Do I think he's enough to level out the playing field? I don't. It's just 2 superstar talents from that magnitude. 2 first-team All-NBA players, which is crazy. 2 first-team All-NBA. I should say there can only be 5 first-teamers, and the Lakers have 2. That speaks in it of itself. And not even like, they're not just on the team together. They have great chemistry. They're always talking to each other. It looks like they just gel really, really good. And if LeBron's having an off game or an off quarter, because he doesn't really have off games anymore, he just have maybe off quarters, AD steps right in, takes over. He doesn't mind just give the ball to AD and score. In the post, he could shoot. He's been hitting lights out from the mid range and the 3 in the playoffs. If I were to give you the Heat anything, I would say that they do have some wing defenders that they could throw at LeBron, more than probably any team in the league other than the Clippers. But, I mean, the Clippers are gone. But they have Jimmy Butler. They have Crowder. They have Iguodala. And then they have Bam. And all 3 of those wing defenders and then their center, Bam, could, do a decent job on LeBron. Jimmy Butler, he's a great defender. He's a little small for LeBron, but he's tough. I'm sure he'll give his best effort, and he'll at least bother him a little bit. Crowder, he's probably the biggest of their wing defenders. He's pretty stout. He's strong. He could potentially give LeBron some trouble. Iggy kind of coined the term of a LeBron stopper, before Kawhi, or around the same time. But he's getting old. But he could probably give you some minutes where he gives LeBron some trouble. And then bam, he's a center, but he's really, really quick on his feet. He could switch onto LeBron. If I was the Heat if I'm not running the zone, if you're running the zone, it's kind of hard to pick who's going to be guarding AD and LeBron. But if I'm the Heat and I go into man and the Lakers do a pick and roll with LeBron and AD, I want Jimmy Butler and I want Bam Adebayo defending either one. It doesn't matter who's guarding which, but once they force the switch and then you switch Jimmy onto LeBron and then you put Bam on AD, then you don't feel too bad. Or if it's the other way around, if you force the switch and Bam goes into LeBron and Jimmy covers AD, I feel like that's your best bet. Because Jimmy's strong. If AD gets the ball on the block with Jimmy defending him, it's not an automatic bucket for AD. So that's what I would do. I would always have my 2 best players guarding their 2 best players. And the good thing about the Heat is a lot of teams, they don't want to have their stars or their superstar guarding the other team's best players just because they want to save him on offense. They're should we sacrifice you on defense in order to stop or slow down the other team's best players? But then if we do that, we're kind of sacrificing you on the offensive side. You're not going to be able to score buckets that we need to stay in this game. The Heat don't need the Heat aren't solely dependent on Bam and Jimmy getting their buckets. Jimmy could have 13 points and they could still win. Maybe that's not true against the Heat, but that happened against the Celtics and they still win. So like they can still get their points from Dragic. Dragic could give them 20 to maybe 30. He probably on that 26 sweet spot is what he's gonna be giving them, or like under 26 and under. Tyler Hero, we saw him go off against the Celtics. He scored a 37, I think, on game 3 or game 4. So he could at least give him another 20, 25 consistently, probably 20 consistently, and then Duncan Robinson could go off and he could get you like another 20, and then just in the flow of the game, Jimmy will get like minimum 13 to 15 points and bomb like just on putbacks and just being a center. You don't have to really run offense for him. He'll get his 15, and then right there you got your points. So it's not like a crazy idea to just be like, what, Bomb and Jimmy, just let the offense come to you. Whatever happens on the offensive side, it's cool. Just focus on stopping AD and LeBron, and then on offense we'll figure it out. I think that's very much in the cards. That could definitely be something Spoelstra tells them, like, all right, you know what, like, we got to stop him. We got to slow him down for us to have a chance. And you guys might be able to just defer the offense to the other guys. And if that doesn't work, then we could try like a more team-oriented defense, and then try to get Jimmy his buckets or get Bomb his buckets. But that's the way I could see the Heat, having a chance in this series. They do have a 2-3 zone that they could deploy. It worked against the Celtics pretty good. There's only like a couple instances where the Celtics were actually able to collapse the defense and get like open shots. I don't think it'll work that well against LeBron and the Lakers, just because LeBron is a very, very, very smart player, and he usually has feel out games like game 1. He'll like kind of like not throw the game, but just kind of coast and see what the other team's throwing at him, and then adjust from there. So if he does that, I feel like by game 2 he'll have the zone figured out, and he'll just dissect it. He'll just he'll know what to do. He'll know how to draw that double team. He'll know how to penetrate the zone, collapse the zone, and find the open shooter. I was watching First Things First, and I saw Chris Broussard break down how he thinks the Heat could beat the Lakers. And he basically said that the Heat are a good team, but they can't really beat the Lakers. The only way that they have a chance is if the Lakers beat themselves. I agree with that. Like he mentions that the Lakers have to go cold from 3, which they can, and they have to miss their free throws, which they can, because Lakers, unfortunately, were still one of the worst free throw teams in the league. And we just turnovers, free throws, and missing our threes. That's what he said. Like if the Lakers do those three things, and the Heat are playing good basketball, then they have a chance. And I agree, but I just hope, or I'm pretty like confident that the Lakers are not gonna go like really, really like cold from 3 like they did like in the opening games. I feel like they found their rhythm. And turnovers, I mean, the Lakers aren't like known for having too many turnovers. They do have like their odd game where they have like a lot of turnovers, but for the most part they know how to keep the ball and keep possession. And free throws hurt you a lot. They'll keep teams in the game. So that one does bother. That one, if the Lakers are concerned about one thing, it would be the free throws. And Spoelstra is a good head coach, so he might just start hacking. Like don't think he won't do that. Like if the game's close, he could just start hacking Rondo or whoever, Kuz, because Kuz is not that good of a free throw. Even LeBron, he might just get in LeBron's head. He did coach him. He's seen him in practice. He might just have the audacity to do a hack of LeBron and then just see if LeBron is able to do it. I don't think he will do that, but you never know. It's the finals. But very excited. We're like, it's 11:32. I think tip-off is at 5:30 or 6. So I'm very excited. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Weird season. It's finally going to wrap up. The Lakers, after 10 years, are back in the finals. They are the heavy favorites. It does look like they should be able to win. I know LA really needs a win. Like they've had a rough last couple years with just like, a lot of their icons dying, like RIP Kobe and it's just they really need this win. They really, as a city, I feel like they need it. They've been hit hard this last couple years, and hopefully the Lakers are able to bring them some joy. And then just even regular fans like myself, I'm from San Diego. I'm not from LA, but I am a Laker fan. I've been a Laker fan for a while, so it's been a rough 10 years since the last final. It's been a rough 7 years since the last playoffs. It's just I know we're blessed because there's teams that go 50 years without winning nothing or really having a chance to be contenders. But I mean, hopefully they're able to win the chip and we can celebrate while maintaining social distance. But yeah, NBA finals should be good. If you guys aren't tuning in, I hope you guys tune in. It's gonna be a great finals. It's gonna be fun. Unfortunate that there's no fans could be at attendance. Miami and LA would have been fun, but what can you do? We're in a pandemic, and hopefully, it doesn't linger into next season where it would be at the games.